Welcome to Google for Real Estate. I'm Derek, real estate agent, outdoor adventure sportsman, volunteer firefighter, and Google marketing geek. Let's get into it. We got a little bit of news and random things, not a ton, been kind of slow. There's a lot of general SEO news and ads news and stuff, but that's a little bit over heads and a little bit beyond what I try to keep it to in here. So I have a couple kind of little tidbits to talk about. I also thought I would talk about the Q&A section a little bit. I don't think I've talked about that too much recently. If you look in the chat, you'll see a couple links from me. I don't think I clicked on the links and they don't do what that says it's supposed to do. At least it didn't for me. It just took me to my profile in general. But those links are supposed to take you to my question and answer section. And then similar to a review, if you can get people to ask you questions, well, I guess I shouldn't get into it till I actually get into it. So we'll talk about the Q&A section a little bit. So that's what those links are in the chat if you're seeing those. Update on Jessica and some Ask Me Anything if anybody has anything to ask or issues or anything, or if you have a win to share. I will start with a win that we talked about last week with Jessica Taylor up in Chi-Town. She had, when we talked last week, she had at that point 54 reviews over 15 hours on her Facebook business page. And I just checked it before the episode here, and she got 8 more after we talked. So she's at 71, I think it was now. So 71 total reviews from essentially one post. And I think she did follow it up with like a thank you post, which may have generated another review or two or something. But that was still, so what was that? 8 more, 50, so 63 total reviews she got from that. 63, because she started with 8. So that's bonkers. She's pretty good there. And if you scroll through the reviews, it's all April 1st. And actually, that's funny too, because it happened on April 1st. So April Fool's Day made that person that gave her a bad review a fool and went and got 63 good reviews. So
hey, Derek, you don't know how many that Google did not let through. That's amazing that they let through that many at one time.
Yeah, I'm guessing Facebook doesn't gate much of anything. I've never not had a review of mine show up on Facebook. And like we've been talking about, Facebook business page reviews are important, and having a Facebook business page, yada, yada, increasingly more important. So, yeah, I think it's good time spent and possibly not as hard as on Google. I think Google should still be the main place, obviously, but if you don't, especially if you don't have any reviews on your Facebook business page or just a couple, be a good thing to stack up at least maybe like 25. And by this example, it shouldn't be too hard to get 25 over maybe a couple months or maybe even just one post, because it's so easy for people to do it and they're staying on the platform and everything. So hit up your Facebook business page like we talked about last week. I guess I'll do the little news and things first. Merchant Center wants to, this doesn't really apply to us, but I heard somebody mention on the Search Engine Roundtable that Google Merchant Center, which is where if you sell t-shirts or actual items, you would put them on Google Merchant Center and they would show up in shopping ads or even in just organic results, mostly shopping or paid results probably. But so you would put those in Merchant Center, and Merchant Center now wants to subscribe to those companies' emails. So be on their email list, get their newsletter, get their promos, all the things, so that it can scan and read and know that business better. And then it can make your ads better and make search results better for users when they're searching things. It will know the business better and be able to better serve people things. So I thought that was interesting, even though it doesn't apply to us directly, really. It's still an indication of AI coming into search results and taking more control. And I thought it was very interesting that they they're going to have bots subscribing to email lists to then scan and know even more than just what they can find online about the business or whatever, or what you input into the system. It wants to know all the things. So I found that interesting, and it's possibly could come to other industries as well, I suppose. So that was kind of cool. Google linking to their own. Everybody's up in arms about in the AI overviews. The AI overviews are when you ask Google a search question, it's going to give you Google does the Googling for you, quote unquote, and it will give you an AI answer. And then there will be links that you can click on to go read more about it or whatever. And everybody keeps talking about and is up in arms about them linking to themselves, basically. Google linking to another search result about the thing they were talking about, a search results page, rather than just linking to an article or a publisher who is trying to get clicks to their website. So I understand why publishers would not like it. Bloggers, people that write articles, that live on money they get from ads on websites, they need traffic to their websites. In the olden days, you searched for something, it was a bunch of blue links. People would click that, and then you would make money for people going to your website for the most part, or you would be selling them something or whatever. But now Google kind of and doing the Googling for you, in essence, removes you going to the publisher's website or even the manufacturer's website or the retailer's website or whatever. So that's why people are upset about it. I see why they would link to their own search results too, though, because possibly that AI overview or that sentence or that paragraph or whatever it's referencing or expanding on maybe it came from multiple sites, which it should, I would think. Don't just take an answer from one site, look at a bunch of them, figure out what seems to be consistent, and then that's probably the right answer, and maybe some tidbits from different things. But I would think that it would be pulling it from multiple things, so it would make sense to, when you click to get more, it would give you those search results. So it kind of makes sense to me, and that's what Google says, that people want more search results. They clicked on it because they want more information about that thing that they were just trying to get more on. So everybody hates it. I get why they hate it, because it's taking traffic away from websites, but I also understand why Google does it. And as a user, I think it makes sense and I kind of like it. So a little bit of mixed feelings maybe on that. What's best for the users sometimes is not best for some people's business, and might be good for some other people's business, and just means we all have to keep getting on board to the AI revolution, the AI taking over things. We all have to figure out how the business is going to change and what we have to do to fit into that. Another thing I heard on the Search Engine Roundtable is that the TikTok, well, you guys already knew this, but the TikTok ban was postponed for 75 days. I had not heard that time frame or something. So whenever it was supposed to be banned, it was postponed for 75 days, not 7,500 days. I don't know when that expires. I didn't go that far as to check it. But the tidbit that was more important was that ad spend on TikTok is way down, especially big corporations. I think they said ad spend is way down on TikTok and Facebook, Meta, Instagram. So Meta, which would also be Messenger and WhatsApp and all the things, and their ad network, yada, yada. Meta is up because basically with the ban possibly happening, big advertisers don't want to pour money there, essentially. So they have moved their ad spend to Meta. And they said that Meta is projected this year, by the end of the year, to be at 36 billion with a B. And TikTok, or Yik Yak, as I typed it in here when I was quickly typing it in. I'd always do that for some reason. Is the Y next to the T, I guess? So Meta got 36 billion and Yik Yak got 14 billion by the end of the year. So, and I don't know what their numbers were last year or anything to compare it to, but I thought that was interesting. TikTok is down. People are leaving there and going to Meta with their ad spend. And then, go ahead.
Is that gonna? I'm sorry, I was really trying to get in. Are they gonna ban? If they ban CapCut again? Also,
I don't know. I didn't read that enough. I'm not an expert enough to know. I would guess that if it's tied to it, it would be tied together. However, it's not a platform, it's an editing app. I don't, maybe it would still exist and have certain things stripped from it, maybe. I don't know. I use CapCut mobilely. That's my editor of choice. On desktop I use something else, but yeah, I don't know.
Because I was going to join it and I was lagging. I mean, they took away so many um, things and made them, where you had to join. But God, I don't want to join
It's not super
75
expensive,
days.
is it?
No, not really. It really isn't. So I guess I could do it monthly. And um, I guess Instagram's coming out with their own. Whether they're going to charge, I don't know.
Yes, their own. Isn't it called Edit or something? Or am I dreaming that? I have heard that though.
I'm not.
I think I paid.
Yeah,
What? Go ahead.
I'm not sure. I saw it and I kind of took a picture of it. Um, and I thought, well, maybe it was out, but somebody said, oh, I forgot who said it yesterday, that Jonathan in the evening room said it's going to clone CapCut exactly. So that's all I know.
Yeah, that's cool. The one thing about CapCut, the captions are hard to get on a lot of editing softwares, the correct ones. CapCut has good ones. Filmora is one that I use on desktop. I use Filmora and Cyberlink Power Director 365. Nobody's ever heard of that one. I started using that one like 10 years ago. I was just searching like best editing software or something, and it seemed to be recurring on a lot of different best of lists, and it was pretty cheap. It just renewed, and it was $75, 74.19 I think is what it was, and it has AI in it and can do all kinds of stuff. It can do enough and more, but it does not have the good captions. It does captions and subtitles and stuff, but not. It just doesn't have the options or those big words or the kind of the good ones that we all want. So then I searched for something else, and Filmora is the other one I pay for, and that's only maybe like $100 a year or something too. That's not super expensive either, but that one has the good captions, a lot of good options, and you can mess with and manipulate them a lot. It also has AI stuff in it, and it also has the other thing Power Director did not have was audio. Like sometimes I make testimonials out of audio from these rooms or whatever, and Power Director does not have that like wave image thing generator thing in it. So I was looking for one, and that's how I found Filmora, which does have that, a pretty nice one that you can edit pretty nice and change colors and different wave patterns and
Yeah, I
stuff.
think that CapCut isn't probably is a little bit more, but they have the wave, they have all those things. The reason I like it is it took me so long to learn one of these things. It's like, oh God. But I'll do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Once the muscle memory and you're good, and like I know exactly where the volume button or the speed thing is, and I know where all the things that I use a lot are, and now I got to start over and learn a whole different thing. And they have a desktop version too. I don't think I've downloaded it. I've maybe used it once, possibly, because for the same thing. That's why I keep getting Cyberlink Power Director, this obscure editor that nobody knows about, because I know how it works, and they all kind of work the same essentially, but it is kind of sometimes I'll do my main edit in Cyberlink Power Director, then I'll put it over to Filmora to put the captions on it there because Cyberlink has crappy captions or whatever. So I don't know. TikTok, I guess we'll find out about TikTok too. I don't if that's banned or not. That should, I'm guessing, I feel like that's been going for a while, so that was 75 days would be up soon, but I don't know. Again, I didn't check into it. And then on a webinar I was watching from Sterling Sky, they mentioned a couple tools that I was not familiar with, but I'm going to make myself familiar with. SEO tools to be able to measure traffic that you get to your website coming from bots. AI, basically, ChatGPT, Gemini, all the AI, Perplexity, yada yada. So that's part of the problem to know what you're doing in marketing and search marketing, SEO. You need to know where your clicks are coming from and be able to measure that accurately. And Google Analytics, I don't think really does it. So Cloudflare, if anybody's looking or cares, I care and I wrote them down. And hopefully they all have some kind of free version or aren't super expensive because all these tools get to be a lot. And hopefully Google Analytics will start showing us that data also. I'm not a huge Google Analytics. The SEO stuff I know enough to be dangerous. Basic stuff I don't get heavy into it. Anyhow, Cloudflare for tracking AI bot traffic, and also zip tie is one I've heard a few people mention now in the last week or so. So Cloudflare and zip tie seem to be two tools that can help you know when traffic is coming from bots. And I heard one of them say that in one of the tools, or maybe in all the tools, when OpenAI queries or goes to your website for some reason to get information from it, to answer a query or whatever, it will show up in your measuring tool as bing.com, as a Bing search. So that kind of tells you that OpenAI, ChatGPT, is mainly probably using Bing for searches, which is another reason why you need to be on Bing Places. And Bing Places uses Facebook reviews as the reviews for Bing Places. So you want to make sure all that's going. And I haven't started to yet, but I feel like I need to now. Bing has Bing Webmaster Tools that's similar to Google Search Console. You've heard me mention Google Search Console before. Google Search Console is just a place where you can go and for free kind of put your URL in, your website in, and make sure that Google is crawling it, indexing it, scanning it, and it knows your pages and what's on them and all that stuff. So Google typically will anyway. Unless it doesn't like something, then it will de-index it or bury it or whatever. But this is a way that you can proactively make sure that Google is seeing your site and scanning it and indexing it properly and everything. And you can also do it on Bing. And I have it in the past, but now I'm thinking I might start doing that, at least myself, possibly for clients or something, but start doing that for myself. And then, I just thought of a good topic, actually. I'll do it last.
Hey,
Last week, go ahead.
Hey, Derek, when you mentioned Cloudflare, that reminded me that Cloudflare also has some type of like CAPTCHA type thing. And I have several apps that I cannot use on Google because the Cloudflare won't come in and I have to go over and be on Edge, and then I have no problem with it. And one of the sites that is causing me that difficulty is the ShipStation that I use for my mailing package labels. So I don't know what's going on with Cloudflare, but it happens occasionally and it always happens on ShipStation.
Huh. So essentially, Cloudflare, you say it like it doesn't work right unless you're in Microsoft Edge browser?
Yeah. What
Huh.
ends up happening is I go to the site and start to log in, and then it sits there telling me that it's doing a Cloudflare authentication, but it never finishes. It never goes through, and you sit there for however many minutes. But if I go over to Edge with the same URL, it doesn't happen.
Huh. Are your settings different? Are cookies blocked on Chrome and not blocked on Edge? Is it that kind of thing?
Oh, come on. Who would want to not have cookies? No. They're the cookies are good, especially chocolate chip. Um, the No, they're very much the same.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy. I do hate every time I restart my computer or do anything shut down all my internet. I don't even have to restart my computer. If I shut down my internet browser windows, it will pop up an Edge browser with all the same tabs I had open in Chrome, trying to get, like, it constantly is trying to get me to, I can't uninstall it. I've told it, like, stop doing that. And it just really, really, they're trying hard to get you to switch over to Edge and all the Microsoft stuff. So maybe it's part of that. Or maybe they have some stock in Cloudflare also, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a very weird thing, and it's happened in the last month or so.
Huh. Yeah, well, I will tell you if I have any, because I'm using Chrome and I'm not going to use Edge, so I'll let you know if I have a similar problem. I guess I have to sign up, and then you said it's at the CAPTCHA thing where it
It's like a
freezes.
captcha thing works where you get some that, like, if you shop in some services, it comes up and wants you to match something, or it wants you to look for a number and does an extra level of authentication. And apparently Cloudflare offers that. And I, again, the ad that I have so much trouble with is my ship station. And I need to do my mailing labels for packages because we send them out for anniversaries and stuff. And postage is cheaper on ShipStation, but I can't do ShipStation anymore in Google Chrome.
Weird.
It is
I would
weird.
get, it's got to be a setting for something, because why would anybody make a website that would not? I mean, there is a reason, but weird. Or maybe there's an update needed or something. What
Well, I
about
have,
zip tie?
and
Have you
I
ever used that one?
used what?
Zip tie?
No,
No.
have not.
Yes, I guess it's the same thing. Bot mitigation. That's one of the Cloudflare things. It's free monthly. Do you pay for it? $20 is the first paid tier.
No, I don't pay for any Cloudflare. This is coming in from an app. It's coming in from ShipStation. But I've seen it elsewhere as well, and it always hangs.
Gotcha. Huh.
So anyway, I thought maybe you might have seen it. Thanks.
No, no.
Hey, Derek.
Yeah. What's up?
Hi, this is Ladora. Good morning, everybody. Let go back a moment when you were talking about Bing Places, because I'm not I've seen it popping up, like you said, but I'm not real familiar with that. Were you saying that we should set up a profile there so that these search engines are being aggregated and cross searched and things will show up everywhere? Did I understand you correctly?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you just Google Bing Places or add my business to Bing Places, it should pop up and be obvious. And then you should be able to just sync it with your Google Business profile if you just log in with the Gmail that owns your Google Business profile or just manages it. And then it'll log in and it'll say, is it this business? You say yes, and then you just sync it with it. And then you can also, once you sync it, go into the dashboard, and there are some little tweaks that you can do or a little bit of optimization. But all your main information should come over from your Google Business profile. Not reviews, though. It will have no reviews other than what it finds on your Facebook business page, assuming, I don't think, to my memory, pretty positive there's no place where you put your Facebook business page in there. So Bing's just figuring out which one is yours. So hopefully it does that, because that's where I've seen the reviews come from. But yeah, should be free and fairly easy to do.
Oh,
And then
good.
Apple Business Connect would be the other one that you would want to do that's also similar.
Oh, good. I've heard of that one. Hey, and then on a one other note, can you have two businesses at the same business address on Google, or they're not going to like that?
Uh, if there's enough difference, it would be okay. If it's going to see it as a duplicate profile, definitely can't do that. But there are a lot of multi-tenanted commercial buildings all over the place where the same address is going to have multiple businesses in it. So I would say if the business name, if it's like Ladora Cooper Realtor and
The company
LC
name.
LC Plumbing,
Yeah.
running out of the same address, then they're not going to affect each other. Phone number hopefully is different. Everything other than the address, if everything else is different, you should be fine.
So that means a different email also then.
If it was me, I would probably create it, yes, with a different Gmail. I would make
Yeah.
it as completely separate as possible.
Okay, gotcha. But didn't you
Having
tell
said that,
me?
I have multiple. I've had 3 at my running out of my house before, and I currently have 2.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, in general, they don't like multiple home or same place or same person businesses or whatever. But yeah,
What about didn't I remember you saying once they don't too much care for those virtual spaces because virtual offices have different things going on at that location also.
yeah, shared workspaces, virtual offices,
Yeah.
PO boxes. They don't like any of that stuff.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, they prefer home based or actual place that people can go see you or and people could go see you in some of those shared places, but yeah, they don't like those. And they will call out also, even if you did, because there's tons of people that use the shared space and it worked, and that's maybe their grandfather did, or maybe they did it now and they somehow got by or whatever. But it will call out on your profile, located within Regis offices or something, which isn't terrible, and it's not like big, huge call out, but it does. They a lot of times will say, or sometimes it'll even say located within Remax Realty Professionals or whatever. It will figure that out and sometimes say, or it'll say located within the Johnson Office Center or whatever. But yes, good question. And Big Places and Apple Business Connect, a note on those, you will have to verify those. You will not have to do a video as with Google, but Bing Places, it's a postcard. Once you get in there, typically it'll say get verified. You click the button, it'll send you a postcard like Google used to do. It says 5 to 6 business days you should get it. I have yet to ever receive one for like 2 or 3 years now. Still trying to get one. And there's really no help. Like I haven't had help find any help system or anything to really complain to or anything. So that could be an issue. Hopefully, other clients though, I've had success. It came, we got it, and they're good. So it does work. For some reason, mine is not working. Maybe I missed it too many times, and they don't want to send me a new one. But click get verified. Should be a postcard. Hopefully you get it. Keep an eye out. Make sure you get it and input the code fast so it doesn't time out, and then you have to try again. And then on Apple Business Connect, that they want a business verification document, like if it's an LLC or something that you're claiming as the company, because there's 3. The Apple Business Connect is complicated and worse than Google Business Profile, frankly, in my opinion. And especially since there's no experts talking about it out there or forums or like I can't find any information or help or anything about it from anyone, so you're just trying to like figure it out. But there's 3 levels on there. You have to create the company, and then underneath your companies you have a brand, and then underneath the brands you have a location. And for like a real estate agent, probably all 3 of those are going to kind of be the same thing. Derek Bixler is the company, Derek Bixler is the brand, and Derek Bixler is the actual location, which is the actual profile level and the thing you make pretty and everything. On the company level is the thing that you have to verify, and the brand too, kind of. But I believe my understanding is that kind of is handed down from the company level. If that's verified, then I think the other thing is okay. Again, I'm still learning this, and I've got one client in particular we cannot get this thing verified. It's the biggest pain in the butt, and we've jumped through the hoops and explained blah blah blah, because they will tell you if you don't get verified. It does give you somewhat of a reason, but with me, the reason we fulfilled the reason and it's still not working and they don't like it. So
So it sounds like you kind of answered my thinking what I was fixing to ask you next. So it sounds like the Apple Business Connect, it does not sync with your Google profile. You've got to start from scratch over there.
yeah, And one note, the cover image there, you can't have any words in it or anything. So really just a picture of a house or a picture of your face are my two go-tos. On my personal profile, the cover photo keeps getting rejected no matter what I put there. So definitely no words in it though. The logo has to be an actual logo, like on the Google business profile and our Facebook business page. And most of us, unless we're actually an agency or a huge team, we should be using our headshot because headshots convert, logos don't. So headshot should be your logo on most places, but on Apple Business Connect, the logo has to be an actual logo. So that's another note. Whatever the logo is, put that in there. Make sure it's a nice, optimized for a circle, tiny logo, not a bunch of words that nobody can read or whatever. But it has to be an actual logo, not a face. And then if it is an LLC or something, they will ask for a document, and they will want that document, the address on said document, to match whatever address you're claiming for the brand and the location. So they kind of want all the addresses on all the levels to match along with that document. I forget. I think I gave them a real estate license, I think.
Does it by chance ask you for an EIN number?
It does ask you for EIN or social, I think. Maybe I did it with just my social and it was cool with that. And then it's like, okay, it's a person and we don't need a document. But if you do the EIN thing, it's got to kind of all match, I think. Again, I'm still learning it a little bit.
That's good info. Thank you.
If you learn anything new, let me know. It is good to be on there, though, because more and more people, and I get texts, not a ton, but one every couple of weeks, like, why am I not on here? Or why do I look like this on Maps? And I'm like, that's because that's Apple Maps, not Google Maps. And obviously, Apple Maps is the default one that comes on the phone. So any Apple users, which are a lot of them, a lot of times they're going to Apple Maps, or if they ask Siri, who's the best realtor near me, it's going to use Yelp or its own Business Connect stuff. And it'll bring over Yelp reviews for the reviews on the Apple Business Connect. Or I've also seen, or I'm not an Apple person, so I don't look at it a lot, but I've also heard that they have like a thumbs down, like a recommend or not recommend, thumbs up or thumbs down kind of system. But I've definitely seen firsthand Yelp reviews coming over, which makes sense because they used to have an agreement with Yelp for business. They didn't have their own business directory, so they contracted with Yelp. So every time you ask Siri, they would be usually the results that Siri told you would be from Yelp, unless you typed a search. And that would be Google. I think like 20%, don't quote me on that, but some big chunk of Apple's revenue was from Google paying Apple to be the default search engine on the phones. And I think it still is, but right now that's part of litigation that's been going on for a long time with Google to stop that from happening, not being the default search engine on every single, because they have 89% now, 89% share for search.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, so on my Google profile, I have my headshot on the profile, but I can't get it to show up as, my profile picture or something. It keeps showing a house that I had listed some years ago.
If you go to your dashboard and click photos, it should give you three kind of sections, three things. There'll be a cover photo, a logo, and then the rest of your other photos. And there you would click change logo or change cover image or cover photo, whatever they call it. I would recommend actually just delete it and then add a new one. Don't just replace it. If it's a good image that can still sit in your photos section, that's fine. I like to put words on my cover photo, but I don't like words on photos in the photos section. So usually when I replace the cover image, I don't want it still sitting there. But anyway, so there should be three places. The logo, which I would use your headshot unless, like I said, you're an actual agency or a big team or something. And then the cover image would be where you dictate what the cover photo will be usually the main image that shows up, like if I pasted my Google business profile link on Facebook or above on the top of this room, usually the image it will go grab will be whatever you put in the cover photo section. And usually when people see your profile, that would be the main image, although Google will pick other things sometimes if it wants to. Is that what you're talking about? Does that answer it?
Yes, because I have a logo in my logo section, but you're saying I should put my headshot there instead. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you.
Faces convert, logos don't, is how I feel about it. Especially, I think women's smiling faces in marketing convert highly. There's a window and door replacement company around here, and they have billboards everywhere, and their billboards have nothing to do. There's not even a window or anything in it. It's just a blank background, maybe a color like an orange background or light blue or something, and then a pretty woman smiling, and then it just says I guess I don't care. West Shore window and door, and then a phone number. That's the whole ad, and it must work because they're everywhere and they've been running them forever. So yeah, I would, and even men's smiling faces, and they want to see the person, yada yada. Anything else, anybody? Let me see where I'm at on my notes. Zip tie Cloudflare I mentioned. In that same webinar with Sterling Sky, they were talking about the same things I've been talking about for a long time, is to spend more time on other platforms. So just Google business profiles, just SEO or traditional SEO aimed at specifically Google or even Bing or whatever. Traditional SEO stuff is changing. AI is coming into the picture. Like I've been saying, if you were to ask an AI agent, that assistant that eventually we will all have that does everything for us, we never go to Perplexity, we never go to Google or Bing or ChatGPT, we never do any of the stuff. It's just we pay for, I'll probably end up paying for Google's AI agent, which isn't out yet. I'm on the wait list. But it will do all the things for us, and it's not just going to go to the Google business profile and say, this is the person you should work for when you ask it who's the best, who should we get to sell the house. It's going to look at everything. It's going to look at the Google business profile. It's going to look at your Facebook business page. It's going to look at your socials. It's going to look at Zillow, how many sales you have. And if you went to now the deep thinking models of ChatGPT, Gemini, all those things, if you ask them for a local agent, you'll see Zillow and you'll see it referencing how many sales, number of sales, made lots of sales in the last year or whatever. So it's looking at everything. So increasingly, it's still at Google. That's still 90, like I said, 89% search share, and especially for local, it's way better for local right now than AI local searches are. But AI is getting better, everything's moving that way, so we need to think of it all more holistically. Again, Bing Places, you need to be on the Apple Business Connect. You need, if you have a Yelp, I don't necessarily think you have to be on there, but a lot of people have it and neglect it or whatever. I think I have 3 reviews there or something. But I haven't been there forever, so every once in a while I'll try to go to that place, make it look good. Zillow, obviously, get reviews there. Facebook business page, I talked about that, and they were talking about the same thing in this webinar about this SEO company that was the guest was actually expanding services into socials and kind of more of a holistic approach and helping clients do good things on all the places, not just only search engine optimization, with the hopes basically though that all those things do help you with search engine optimization. That search engine will just be different in the future. It'll be that AI agent for the most part, like I said. And he said the winning way to win with content in the future, which isn't rocket science, but with everybody able to create content at the click of a button with AI, the thing that will win and is already winning in SEO is more human, unique content. So not just, you don't just go to ChatGPT and say, write me a blog post about things they need to know about living in blank city. And maybe that's a start, but there should be some opinions in there. There should be some editorialization. There should be some kind of input, some kind of human element put into it. And it should be helpful content and content that people want to actually use and share and read and all those things. But in the future, if you really want to even win in the AI arena and the search arena, you need to be more human and make sure that human element is still there. And that's evidenced by Google's recent investment in Reddit, and also changing in the algorithm to where forums are now in search results more often. For a while there, Reddit was like number one result for lots of queries that you would ask, because they want to bring the human element in with it. And I think that's why Meta, somebody mentioned, I think it was Real Estate from the Heart room, maybe, mentioned that Meta was starting like a downvote on comments and an upvote on comments or something like that. And if that's true, I would think that's probably in response to this whole thing where forums and human-to-human interaction and getting a consensus from the forum and from the conversation to then answer a question. I think it's all kind of part of that. So, and they mentioned Facebook groups and Reddit and all those kinds of things to be involved with, because they are all human to human right now. I mean, who knows? I'm sure there are people using bots in there as well, and it'll penetrate and whatnot. But so more evidence, basically, that we need to be on all the places and paying attention to more than just our Google business profiles. And then the last thing I have here, which I just thought of while I was talking to you, is what I'm going to call the zip code method. So I was on a call with a client, and we were talking about we were going through her service areas. You can add up to 20 service areas under your service areas in the edit profile tab. Service areas, you can add up to 20. Typically, you just want to pick what you serve, up to 20, the most important ones. So usually start with the counties, because that's the bigger overarching areas. So I would put all the counties. Usually that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish maybe. Personally, I think I have 2 main ones I work in, but I think I have 4 on my service areas. They all have to be within 2 hours. All your service areas need to be within 2 hours. Don't do the whole state. That'll mess it up. So typically I would do counties first, and then I would start calling out all the main cities that I really want to call out. Picking service areas does not necessarily help you rank for those places. Again, where you sit and are verified, you rank in proximity to that. That's how you rank. However, if there was somebody out in the boondocks searching for an agent and there weren't any real estate agents very close to that person, then Google's going to reach out further and just kind of start picking agents. And if you have said Boondocks town selected as a service area and nobody else does, then it will possibly pull yours and you might rank a little higher. So service areas are important. And when people are looking at your profile, you want it to say you serve the place that they're looking to move to. So service areas, typically I would do the counties, overarching areas, and then I would add in all the key cities that you really want to call out until you hit your limit of 20. And then you click save and you're done. But I was on this call, we're going through this, and you can also pick zip codes. So I can type in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and Carlisle, Pennsylvania will come up, and I click on the auto-populated Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and it goes into my list of service areas. I could also type in zip codes, 17013, 17015, and so on, and it would give me that zip code, auto-populate, zip code, and it kind of says within Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and you could do that. In the past, and per other people also, and I've never heard anybody discuss this in length, if I pick Carlisle, Pennsylvania, I type in Carlisle, it comes up, pick Carlisle, Pennsylvania, that already includes all of those zip codes. So I don't have to be redundant by adding those zip codes within Carlisle. Although it will allow me to do that, I don't need to. And this has been my belief and still is my belief. But this person asking about it and them kind of being superstitious, and we ended up on their profile putting in a bunch of zip codes that are within that place and kind of going against what I typically do. But I like to test things, and it's not a bad idea. So I'm thinking I'm going to test it on my own. So I'm going to go into my own service areas, and hopefully this doesn't get me screwed up or unverified or something. Typically service areas would not, but these days you never know. But anyway, I'm going to use my own profile, and I already have 20, so I'm going to have to delete a couple, and then I'm going to add in all the zip codes in definitely Carlisle, where I am and where I'm verified. You definitely got to do like where you are. So I'm going to leave Carlisle, Pennsylvania in there. I'm going to add all the zip codes within Carlisle. I'm going to do the redundant thing. And then there's a couple other cities that I want to do the zip code thing with. One close by, Boiling Springs, and then Mechanicsburg, one of the most sought after areas close to here. So I think I'm going to change up my service areas a little bit. I'm going to do the zip code method, I'm calling it, and going to see if that does anything to ranking or calls, or see if that makes any notable difference to anything. Again, don't think it will. However, who knows? You never know. But I think until I see some evidence that does something, I would still go with, if I say Carlisle, I don't need to call out all the zip codes. I've already said I cover Carlisle. So that's something I am going to test. And if anything interesting comes of it, I will let everybody know. And then, so that's it for that. Any questions on any of that stuff? And look at that. I intended to make this a 30-minute room from now on, and we're already at about an hour, which is fine because I need content to post. All right. So Q&A section, we didn't talk about that. I did all the newsy stuff in the Q&A section. So Q&A section is a section on your Google Business profile where consumers can come along and ask you a question, and then you answer it as the business owner, and then that FAQ bank, so to speak, is sitting there for other consumers to come along and see and possibly get answers to their questions, and then possibly get converted and reach out to you. People have said that getting people to ask you questions and doing the question answer thing is up there with getting reviews. That would make sense because it is input from the public. Google, we can do certain things on our Google business profiles, and we should be doing all the things that we can do on our end. But what they really, really, really love, which is why they love reviews, is they love input from consumers and buyers and sellers and clients, giving them input on the business. So photos added by other people, reviews given by other people, and questions and answers would be the other thing a way that people can interact with your profile. So if you want to, you can, if you're on the Next Level Ninja, this is on my Next Level Ninja Tricks thing, typically at 101 or maybe it's a 201 status. At initial optimization, we don't do too much with the Q&A section. You could also treat it as an FAQ section, ask your own question, answer your own question. But again, that's you as the business owner doing it. So that might help convert people probably, but it's not going to give you that boost in ranking and people interacting with your profile and things. So if you're on that Next Level Ninja level, then maybe you can focus a little bit on your questions and answers section. And get somebody there. That's the URLs I put in the chat are supposed to take you right to my Q&A section, but when I clicked it, it did not. But it's not hard to find. If you go to somebody's profile, you can scroll to, it'll usually say ask a question, or sometimes it'll say ask the community, which is dumb because I don't think, what are you going to ask a question and then like another consumer is going to come along and answer it? So, and it doesn't go to a community page or anything. It goes on that Google business profile. So that never made sense to me. But if you wanted to be on that Next Level Ninja level, and maybe it's just a month of getting people to ask you questions and then answering the questions, and then you go back to just getting reviews, and it's not a sustained thing, or it could be a sustained thing. But anyway, if you want to do a little bit more, thinking of the next thing I can do to help my Google business profile other than what I'm already doing, a lot of times the questions and answers section is something that most people are not doing that you could start doing. You might have to explain it to people a little bit on how to do it, but it's not too bad. Or just take their phone when you're in an appointment. Say, let me see your phone. Do you have Google Maps on there? Write a question to yourself and then go back later and answer said question. Any questions on the Q&A section? Sweet. All right, well, that's all my stuff, tidbits that I had, and I'm pretty excited about this zip code thing. I'm going to do that today, and we'll see what happens with the zip code method. I got through all my stuff, so unless anybody has any Ask Me Anything issues, wins, anything to share, we'll close her up. Anybody have anything? Going once, going twice. All right. We will see everybody next week. Thanks for hanging out, and have a good hump day. Peace out.